Alola.
Alola.
Today on the GamingStooges Talks podcast, we're talking some more Pokemon. This time we're doing Gen 7, which is the Alola games, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and the Let's Go games, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. If
I
Alola
forgot about those.
if Alola,
shit, yeah.
if Alola has 1,000,000 fans, I'm one of them. If Alola has 5 fans, I'm one of them. If Alola has 1 fan, that fan's me. If Alola has 0 fans, I am no longer alive. If the world is against Alola, it's me against the world. Till my dying breath, I support Alola. Let's fucking go.
Yo.
Do you
All
think
right.
this guy
Yeah, Cloud
likes
is-
these games?
Cloud is ride or die for this generation.
I usually try to save my opinions till near the end of a podcast to kind of give myself some impartiality or the illusion of it. There's no illusions here. I am a defender for Alola, and I am here to defend Alola. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Gen 7 games. I want to go just around real quick and ask you guys what your initial experiences with the games were, because this is probably the first generation where we didn't get to experience all of the games at the time that they had come out to their fullest. We all have different stories of either starting or finishing games well after the generation had already ended. We've pretty much all been able to play the first 6 generations when they came out, but this is where it gets a little funky. I'll get into it, but you can call me Cloud.
I'm Jack. Alola.
I'm Landon.
All right. So, Jack, yeah, what was your experience with the Gen 7 games as far as when the generations was new? What did you get to play and what did you not get to play?
I pre-ordered these games. Base vanilla Sun and Moon, not Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It's pretty much as soon as they were announced. This is back when I was still pretty much pre-ordering everything I was interested in. And Sun and Moon were yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna pre-order the new Pokemon games. Let's go. Not
No, let's
games,
go.
But but no, I pre-ordered them, bought them on launch day, and I'm pretty sure I beat them within a week or two on the first time I played them.
Anything as far as now? You kind of showed off on the Discord that the Ultra games were new to you recently. You just actually
Relatively so, yes.
What about the Let's
I
Go
will
games? Did you get to play those around launch?
I did. I bought Let's Go Eevee, I want to say, if not the day it launched, then, maybe the weekend that it launched. I definitely remember playing them when they came out, back in 2018. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I think Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were the first Pokemon games that I did not purchase on launch day since before Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Oh wow.
It's I was pretty much a day one, buy the new Pokemon game day it comes out every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were the first ones where I'm man, Sun and Moon just came out last year. I don't really need these right away. I got them the Christmas the same year that they came out. So a month and a half after, but I didn't really get that into the Ultra games until I played them this year for the podcast.
Yeah, so as for me, I played through the Alola games at least when they came out. I was a pre-order on Pokemon Moon, so I played through that as soon as it came out. Ultra Moon, I don't remember if I pre-ordered it or not. I think I just got it on launch day. I might not have pre-ordered it, but I definitely played through it on launch. Let's Go is one of the few games where I did not get it to it right away. I don't even remember if I bought it on launch or not, but I definitely did not play through it all until a few years ago when I decided I really want to try and hunker down and play through all the games that I was missing. So we'll talk more about my exact experiences with those games when we talk more about the games as a whole. Landon, how are you experiencing these games as far as the generation at the time, 2016 to 2019 time frame?
I bought, played, and beat both Sun and Let's Go Eevee. I think both were day of. I don't remember if trying to remember if I just got. No, I think I just got Eevee. standalone. There was a couple of the Switch games that I had started, like, wasn't going to get, and then someone got it for me, or someone was like, I'm doing a 2-pack, and I only want one of the games. Do you want to go halvesies and have the other game? But I think that was, I think it was Scarlet was the gift, like, day one gift, and I think Brilliant Diamond.
Nothing with
Shining
Gen
Pearl.
7 then.
No, I think it was after this generation that shit started happening.
So
and then Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. If you'd let me finish, real quick. Ultra Sun, I got day of, and then I played a little bit. I went through the entire first island, and then I dropped it. Where I got through part of the first island, and then I dropped it, and then I picked it back up earlier this year. Thank you. This has been my TED Talk.
Yeah, Landon and Jack were. I was putting pressure on like all of these guys to like play through some of these games. Al in the chat actually hadn't played through an Alola game until I got him to try to play through it, so that was pretty cool as well. But Generation 7 is a first generation for a lot of weird things. We talked about on our Gen 6 podcast, it was like the last generation to do a bunch of things in a certain way and the first generation to do a bunch of things. Well, Generation 7 is definitely the first like completely modern generation. It's very weird. First of all, Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are not even on the same system as the other games, so that's the first time that's happened. You had like the games split up across different consoles. You had the first generation where there was a game that did not have all of the Pokemon that existed at that time available, and also the last game at any point where all of the Pokemon up to that point were available on one game, because this is when they started doing like, you know, there's going to be a certain amount of Pokemon available in a game and that's it, or there might be added updates. To this day, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon have the most Pokemon that you can actually have in one game with 807. Fun fact. It's a lot.
That's crazy.
That's too many.
It is the first games in the series to not have a national Pokedex either. The Sun and Moon games just had the regional Pokedex of 300. There was no national dex. They just got rid of that, even though you could import all the other Pokemon. So they're doing a lot of like funky stuff. Other littler things that they did was they stopped doing like a strict like gym challenge focus formula with the Sun and Moon games, specifically Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, not Let's Go Eevee Pikachu. Those are remakes of the Kanto games, so they're going to have that formula. But the Alola games, they have like a island trial. It's close to a gym structure, but not really. This is the first generation where they started doing this weird trend where you fight big, angry Pokemon as like boss fights. You have in this game the Totem Pokemon, where they get a boosted stat. They'll usually have like a little ally with them that synergizes with them. In other games, this might come in the form of like Titan Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, Dynamax Pokemon raids in Sword and Shield, and noble Pokemon in Legends Arceus. So, you know, you got all of these like big angry Pokemon. That's just a thing that is now a thing thanks to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Also, Generation 7, weirdly, only generation where you could have handicapped battles. All of the games in this generation have this to some extent. In Sun and Moon, it's out of your favor because you can get ganged up on in a 2-on-1. And in the Let's Go games, you could gang up on the other trainers and have a 2-on-1. I guess that's not technically the first generation to do this because the Generation 6 games had horde encounters, but they're so underutilized, it's not really like a major thing that you can do. Whereas in this game, especially the Alola games, you will have this happen a lot, because they have like SOS battles where Pokemon, any random ass Pokemon could just call in another Pokemon, and then you got to deal with two Pokemon at once. So it's pretty interesting there. Also, the first games where the when you become champion, you don't just magically like lose like the standing of a champion and have to like refight an Elite Four, in the sense of like there's another champion that like just took the place again. Like, you are the champion and you get to defend your title against other people that want to fight you. And the Elite Four challenge is more of like a, you know, test that you're still worthy of being champion sort of thing. which means that there's no like traditional champion fight, so to speak. We'll get into like more of like the little ins and outs of like these games, because there's like a lot of little things, a lot of little moving parts to talk about. But yeah, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. These two games are pretty similar. It's like the Ultra games are more like a third version that they just split into two. It's not a Black 2, White 2 situation. They're not like sequels or anything. They are retelling the same story for the most part, but they're rewriting a bunch of characters depending on like what their priorities were. Like in Sun and Moon, Lily, Luzamine, Gladion, they are a lot more important to the story. So they get built up more, whereas in the Ultra games, it's more about the like Necrozma and Ultra Space threat. So they kind of like water down the Lusamine family in order to like tell that story a little bit more. And there's some interesting post game with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon specifically that I think we're going to get into talking about. So yeah, did we have any specific thoughts we wanted to share as far as the Alola games, comparing the two versions overall?
I have not played the base games recently enough to comment too strongly on what's different between them. I definitely noticed some like differences in like some minor differences when it came to like writing and characterization of certain characters, as well as like certain story beats being a little bit different than in the base game, but for the most part it's kind of the same.
Yeah. I think that both of these games, they do something right in the sense like that, like might appeal to a certain different person. In the Generation 5 games, Generation 6 kind of takes a back seat a little bit to this, but in the Generation 5 games, they started trying to like focus on better character writing, trying to tell a little bit more of an actual story, and they do a better job in base Sun and Moon because of their focus on Lily, Nebby, Gladion, and Lusamine. So like you get like really good storytelling from that perspective. But as far as the actual like playable content, like stuff you get to play through, obviously being the base games, they don't have as much to offer as the Ultra games. So if you're looking for more of like the gameplay content, you're probably going to like the Ultra games more. What about you though, Landon?
When I was playing through Ultra Sun, I was like, I was thinking to myself, either I don't remember the base game at all, or they added a bunch of stuff, and they just kind of like bled it into the story pretty well. There was some like pretty obvious stuff, like character cameos that I was like, that's new to this game. He was not in this game before, and he knows what he did in his original appearance.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But they bring some characters over in the Ultra games that I was like, wow, that's cool. But yeah, like overall, part of me wishes they had stuck with the core like singular third game for the release of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Agreed.
I believe that at the time it was definitely like people were upset about the fact that it was like two games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There was a lot of
upset. It was two games. Upset it wasn't on Switch. So
I mean, and like it like kind of, especially after like Black 2, White 2, where it was like a true sequel. It's like, well, what is this? And like the sort of the messaging kind of was diluted because of that. I mean, they haven't really done it since, but they also
it doesn't help. It doesn't help that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are more comparable to Platinum and Emerald, and those games came out 2 years after their original base games, whereas these came out the next year after the original games.
Exactly.
It was the very next year after, and also like 2 games.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. If it was a singular game that like had, it didn't need like all of the Pokemon. It could have like, where it had like its like own sort of like version exclusives, sort of like
it could have just done what the other two did.
Yeah, I think it would have been better received at the time. Obviously, looking back at it is from a gameplay perspective overall, is Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, like, good? Yes. But it was definitely, at the time, really hard to, like, convince other people, and including myself, to be like, you can go through this again right away. Not that I thought Sun and Moon, like, I really enjoyed Sun at the time, but it was like, I just did this.
Yeah, playing through the same, like, several tens of hours long RPG, like, twice that in that small time frame can be a little, like, draining.
And
yeah,
it does not help that, like, the opening island is pretty much copy-paste. They didn't do enough, besides, like, starting to introduce the, you guys said their name earlier, the Recon Squad or whatever.
The Ultra Recon Squad.
yeah.
Yeah. Besides, like, having them show up a couple times in the first island to kind of, like, introduce, hey, there's something different. But they don't, like, you don't really fight them at that point. Like, they're just sort of, like, background characters. And so
a lot of the changes don't come into play until the second island in, which the first island is already the tutorial island in both games, and even if the pacing's a little better in Ultra, it's the same thing.
So I don't blame myself for not, like, sticking to it, especially in, like, because I'm sure there was, like, you said the Switch was coming out, like, had just come out.
The Switch was already out after when Ultra games came out.
Yeah,
and was on its way when Sun and Moon had come out.
So we got shit like Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming out that year, and then earlier in the year, like Breath of Wild. But like sort of the time frame where the Ultra games were coming out, we had some pretty big hitters on a new console. How are you going to tell me to go play?
Go back to the old generation of hardware and play not even a new game, a game that is just a director's cut of the game that already came out the year before, that was a perfectly fine game before this new console came out. Yeah. But
like I said, that all said, I think overall, like the Alola games specifically are definitely in the upper echelon of, like, Pokemon games available.
Yeah, we'll break it down. Some of the things that are really interesting that were added in these games specifically. In the previous generation, we had the introduction of, like, a new gimmick that pertained to battling. We had Mega Evolution. Well, in these games, we have the Z moves. So you give your Pokemon a Z crystal that corresponds to a certain type of move. And as long as it has a move that matches that type, it can use a Z move that is just an extremely strong, exaggerated cutscene animation version of that move and just do a shit ton of damage. It's usually mostly just for spectacle. You can use it once per battle. And another major thing that was added in these games are regional variants. If you want our thoughts on, like, specific regional variant Pokemon, we're going to break that down more specifically in our Patreon exclusive. But as a whole, regional variants are now a thing that these games introduce, as well as Z moves. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on these specific two editions, because they're pretty much two of the things that make the identity of the Alola games. Jack?
I'm sorry, I was reading something on the Wikipedia page. What was the exact
Z-moves.
question? I was
Z moves and regional variants, the two key mechanical gameplay related additions that people tie with this generation.
I forgot that regional variants started with this generation, honestly.
Yep.
For some reason, I remember that starting in X and Y, but I guess it's not the case. Regional variants are cool. I like them in theory, for sure. I think the regional variant designs are pretty hit-miss. And some of the Pokemon they chose to have regional variants for are kind of like, all right, you're just picking some, like, basic-ass ones so you can fill out some holes in the Pokedex, but that's okay. I like them, though. I like that they did regional variants. I think it's a neat idea, especially because Alola is, like, such a vastly different region from, like, every region that came before and after. So I like the idea. And Z moves are fine. I don't love them. They're okay. Like, I don't think they add a whole lot gameplay wise. It's like, oh cool, you can give your Pokemon a crystal and they do, like, a super powerful move that is just kind of like a souped up version of a move that you already have.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not nearly as cool of a generational gimmick as Mega Evolutions were, honestly.
I think that Z moves, at least in execution, were better than Mega Evolutions as far as how they were executed in Generation 6. But as a concept, yeah, I'm not really like the biggest fan of Z moves. I do like that like you can give it to like any Pokemon. Like it doesn't have to be a specific Pokemon that has access to this thing. Like you can just be like, oh, I want my starter to have this thing, or oh, I want like this random Joe Schmo on my team to have this Z move. Like it's cool. I like the generational gimmicks that are both well executed and let your any Pokemon in your team have that benefit, because I feel like it's just a Pokemon thing to like give you the choice of like whatever you want. And I think that, so I like that more, but it is just a single attack. And I think that there's other generational gimmicks that have been a little bit better in that regard. But I like it overall. I really like regional variants though. I think that I would have liked to see them go a little further into like differentiating the regional variants from the base Pokemon that they come from. But I like that instead of just like making even more Pokemon that may just not be well received, they're doing a mix of, okay, here's a decent chunk of new Pokemon, but also here's some old favorites that might have fallen out of favor. They might be a little outdated mechanically because we've power crept generations over time. And here's like new takes on them. Like certain Pokemon like Golem, like there's a million different rock ground types, but they don't have very many rock electric types. Alolan Golem is pretty much the only guy. He does look a little funny though. I can't lie. He does look very funny. And like stuff like Alolan Raticate Dark Normal at the time was a unique type combination. So that was cool that they did that. So it's cool that they're like revisiting these old Pokemon, but like giving them something fresh and new that we haven't seen before. And I like that they did that. I just wish that some of the generations they would have gone harder on. I do agree with Al, though. I do wish you could skip the Z-move cutscenes, because not only are they kind of silly looking, they take way too long. And you cannot skip them. You have to watch them every single time.
Like many things in this generation, they take too long.
Yes.
I kind of wish you could skip cutscenes in general, but that's just me.
Yeah. These
Think
games
of the
are pretty
children,
story, yeah.
Jack. How could they survive knowing where to go next if they didn't have 15 cutscenes of telling them where to go next?
Landon, how do you feel about regional variants and Z moves?
I think I used a Z move once in all of my time playing these games. That might be gracious. I might have never... No, it's definitely less than 5 times. I can tell you that. We're at between 0 to 5 on the number of times I've used Z moves in 2 full complete playthroughs of the Alolan games.
Nice.
I will say in my most recent playthrough of Ultra Moon, I did not use Z moves until like the very end of the game. That was not a thing I even considered as an option until I'm like, all right, I'm like towards the end of the game. I might as well use 1 or 2 of these.
I think I forwent using Z moves in my Ultra game playthrough, but I definitely made use of Z moves in my base game playthrough, and that's because these games are actually pretty challenging as far as Pokemon games go. So I felt like I got backed into a corner a few times because I was surprised at like some of specific fights, and we'll get into some of those as we segue into our next section.
There's some pretty like tough totem fights, and if you're caught off guard, you could have like a boss encounter that if your team setup is not great, or you asked an audience to give you 6 random ass fuckers, and 5 of those random ass fuckers kind of suck. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking from anyone's experience particularly. Definitely not Jack's. Now, as far as the other thing, regional variants, I adore the idea of like like real life evolution taking place in the Pokemon world that caused this.
Yeah.
That concept is really neat.
They did also only use Gen 1 Pokemon this time.
We don't need 3
Yeah.
different Meowths. I know this is like the first time we're having it, but we don't need 3 different Meowths Pokemon.
Yes, we do. Because without 3 Meowths, we can't have the joke in Pokemon Legends ZA where there's a guy giving out starters and all 3 are just different versions of Meowth.
That's funny as fuck. I wasn't even aware that was a thing.
That's a thing.
I have not
funny.
played
He gives
that
out
game yet,
Cantonian
so-
Meowth, Alolan Meowth, and Galarian Meowth as starters. It's really fun.
I take it back. Regional variants are perfect. No notes. Keep it coming.
So yeah, another major aspect of the Alola games that we mentioned is the fact that it is an island challenge. It's not a gym challenge. They are similar in formula, but their execution is quite different at points. And I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this different approach. There was, you would have totem Pokemon boss fights. You would sometimes fight a trial captain, sometimes not. The trial captains are the overseers of the island challenge, but you don't necessarily have to fight them. You do have to fight kahunas at the end of each island in order to prove your worth into moving on to the next one. So there's 4 kahunas that you have to fight to eventually move on to the end of the game, which is after you've done all the other challenges as well. How do we feel about that?
The thought just came to me, so I want to say it out of order. I'm sorry, Jack. There is one challenge in particular in this game, one of the totem challenges, that would have gone so much better if this had been like one game. And that is, what is the fairy one for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Where you... spoilers for an almost 10-year-old...
Oh, you can say whatever you want. Mention it all.
Yeah.
Rabombi.
Anyway, like you go back and you fight like multiple trial captains to like.
But you only fight some of them, and it's different in each game, isn't it?
And yes, yeah, you have version exclusive fights, and like that's lame.
That would have been
fight
so much cooler if you just fought all 7 of them.
Yeah.
if you fought them all. And because some of them are like, you fight me, and you get the other one, like Lana and
Mallow, the 2 girls.
Yeah, Mallow. Yeah, like
Yeah.
those ones are a version exclusive. Some of them are just fucking lazy and just give it to you. But I want to fight these people.
Yeah. I will say, I thought it was extremely funny when you are, right after you fight Kiawe, you have to fight the hiker.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was funny as fuck. He only has one
great.
Pokemon, but I'm like, that's great. I love that you'd have to do this.
So that's probably like my biggest complaint. Like for the most part, I think it kind of sticks to the same formula where you kind of have like a puzzle where you might fight some like wild Pokemon or trainer Pokemon depending on your stuff and how well you perform. That's almost the same as some of the last couple. And then you have like a boss fight. And I do think the totem Pokemon make for an interesting boss fight, especially since it's usually a 2-on-1, and like they give you usually a little fucker to have to deal with.
I mean, I enjoyed them as boss fights more than the gym leaders from the Kalos games, at least. Like they were a step up from that.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I didn't mention this. I meant to. I will say for Z moves, I like the concept that the professor is like actively like researching Pokemon moves, and so like Z moves tie into like his whole deal. And so like
always cool when the professor's like tied into something important to the new game.
Yeah, exactly. So
like,
that's
Professor Elm. Professor Elm had
back.
eggs. Professor Oak obviously just had Pokemon General because that was a thing. Like I like that idea when like they introduce something new and they're like, okay, the regional professor really cares about this thing that just got introduced,
and it like ties in to like both the story and the gameplay mechanics. I enjoy that. So yeah. I like for a concept to like give us like a sort of a change of pace. I thought the trials was interesting. The Grand Trials is fine. It's just your checkpoint for like, can you like, have you been leveling up? So like,
Yeah.
and they're all pretty decent boss fights.
Yeah. Jack, how do you feel?
About the totems?
The Island Challenge.
Yeah. I think the Island Challenge is a neat idea. It's like not. I will say when these games first came out back in 2016, and I was playing Moon for the first time, I definitely thought it was a neat idea, and I thought it was a cool change of pace from just having 8 gym badges to get, and then an Elite Four to fight, and then a Champion to fight. It's like, it's something different, and I think it's cool. And I like that the fights are actually like semi-challenging. Like, you actually have some fuckers that you have to deal
Totem
with.
Lurantis is a piece of shit.
Totem Lurantis sucks ass. That wasn't even the one I think I had the hardest problem with. I'm trying to remember
the one that I had the toughest time with too.
I definitely I like the idea, and I appreciate that they tried something new this generation as far as like a way to progress through the game and having like proper boss fights like an RPG would, instead of just like another, like, you know, I mean, I guess gym leaders are proper boss fights too, but I'm talking like one big fucker that is stronger than anything you fought up to that point in the game that you have to take down, and a little fucker that helps him out. And I think it's cool. Like, it's not like, you know, I'm not going to say it's the kind of thing that I want to be in every Pokemon game, but I would like it. I mean, I guess Scarlet and Violet kind of did that, where they kind of had like both gym leaders and like boss fight Pokemon that you had to take on.
It's just nice to not have the same strictly gym challenge every game. It doesn't have to be the Island Challenge specifically, but it's nice to just have a little bit of a mix up each game.
Yeah, no, I think it is a good thing. It's not like my favorite method of progression in the series, but they tried something new, especially after X and Y, which were like piss baby easy. Sun and Moon are here to give you like a little bit of a tough time with some of these fights. Like some of the totem Pokemon do not fuck around. Like you mentioned, Totem Lurantis.
I think Totem Mimikyu is pretty tricky too because of the disguise, and it had the I can't remember who its like sidekicks were, but the sidekicks for the Mimikyu also made it way too fucking hard to like take that thing down adequately. Like it's pretty cool that they they specifically were thinking, how do we have this second Pokemon assist this boss fight to make it a bigger challenge? Because they would do stuff like the Totem Wishy-Washy. You'd have like, it would be in the rain, so its water gun was boosted, but also it had a helper that would use Helping Hand to make that water gun even stronger. So like, it would just be like a big damage attack, even though it was just water gun of all moves.
You know which one it was that I had the biggest fucking problem with was Totem Togedemaru, in fucking Ultra Moon, because like, now granted, I posted a picture of it in the general chat of my like final team for the generation, but my ground type Pokemon of choice was Sandygast. Sandygast does not evolve until like level 43, and it has piss awful stats until then.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. Once it evolves, it's a fucking monster. But until you get there, it is a struggle. Oh, yeah. And that was generally like a problem I had with the team.
You had a lot of late evolvers. Like Grimer doesn't evolve into Muck for a while.
Yeah, Grimer doesn't evolve into Muck until the 40s. Kabuto doesn't evolve into Kabutops until...
I think it's 37 for Muck, or 38.
Okay,
it's like, it's super late.
Still pretty late. And like I had Oranguru, which is the only one that didn't evolve. It was the only single stage Mon I had. I had Cottonee, which I delayed its evolution for a while because I wanted to make sure it had Giga Drain and like a couple other good moves like fucking Moonblast. So I waited to evolve that one. Stone evolution. Sandygast, which doesn't evolve until like 43 or 44. Grimer, which doesn't evolve until late 30s. Kabuto, which doesn't evolve until
40,
I think.
40.
And then the only one that I had that actually evolved relatively early was Makuhita into Hariyama, which is like in the 20s.
I'm guessing Hariyama carried you for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My God. The mid-game for Ultra Moon was rough for my team.
Do you remember your team
And
for the base game?
Oh, boy. My first playthrough of the base game was so long ago, but I remember it was...
Starter, Beware.
No, I didn't use Beware. I've actually never used...
I think I used Beware.
I've never used Beware.
I used...
All right, get out of here, Jack.
I used Incineroar, Wishy-Washy, Lycanroc.
I did use Wishy-Washy.
I'm pretty sure
I want to say it was
Beware as well.
Decidueye, Vikavolt, I want to say.
Vikavolt's a good choice. I'm pretty sure I used
Wishy-Washy. Fucking what's the salamander, poison fire salamander? Salazzle. Minior, and I want to say Mimikyu was the 6th one because it was new at the time and it was like really popular, and I'm like, it's a ghost fairy, that's a sick type combo, I'm gonna use that. So it was something like that, but to be honest, that playthrough was a decade ago. I couldn't confidently say, but I want to say that was what my team was.
All right, so
and I didn't have nearly as much of a problem with that team as I did with the team that I used for my most recent playthrough.
So Island Challenge overall, not too bad. A nice freshen up of.
I like it. I like the Island Challenge. I think it's cool.
I personally like it a lot. Like I said, it doesn't have to specifically be like Island Challenge, but just having like a little bit of a difference from game to game instead of just a strict gym challenge every single time and only a gym challenge. It's nice to like be like seeing them trying something a little bit different each game, just to mix things up a little bit. Going back though, like if you're playing like the Ultra games and the base game, like you're gonna notice really quick, like it's still pacing wise and structurally the same thing as a gym challenge. It's just not a gym challenge. So like with that in perspective, like it's still something familiar, but I think it was pretty fun. I definitely remember enjoying it a lot more the first time around. I still like it. I still think it's good, but like you guys said with the Ultra game, Landon, with the Ultra games, like the Ultra games kind of like went a little too far in trying to version exclusify like a bunch of stuff. So like there's little aspects of the challenge that they kind of like fuck around with for the sake of being exclusive in the Ultra games that I feel like kind of dilutes what could have been a much better experience if they had just done it as one director's cut game. But I want to get into the characters of the region so that we can get through that and also talk about other aspects as well. The characters, we have iconic characters like Lily. She is not a trainer per se. She's mostly just a traveling companion, but she's very important to the story. You have Gladion and Hao, who act as your two main rivals. You have Team Skull, which are your main antagonists, but there's also a second antagonist team that reveals itself as the Aether Foundation, where after Lusamine is like going a little cuckoo. A lot more so in the base game than in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. She kind of gets watered down and a lot more tame for that sequence. And you have your island kahunas that I alluded to, your trial captains. There's a lot of returning characters. This is probably like the last game in the series. Let's Go Eevee, Pikachu to a smaller extent, but the last game in the series where like they had an emphasis on a lot of returning favorite characters from previous games, because you have Looker coming back in Sun and Moon's post game for another like investigation thing. Cynthia and Red and Blue.
They love bringing back Looker.
Oh yeah. The Cynthia, Red, Blue, they're returning for the Battle Tree in the post game. You've got Colress and Grimsley coming back from Gen 5 in the Unova for different reasons, for whatever the fuck reasons they're coming in for. And just a bunch of returning characters.
I always forget that Grimsley is in Alola.
He's literally wearing like a kimono too. Like he's just like on vacation.
He's filling in for his mom at the inn they run.
Yeah, he really is. So how do we feel about the characters though? The mix of new and old.
Generally, I think the cast is very strong. I definitely like the characters in this generation more than in Kalos, because Kalos has a lot of, and by a lot of, I mean almost all of them are fucking forgettable whatever characters that I barely remember the names of. But like Sun and Moon genuinely has like some, now I'm using this term pretty liberally, but depth to them
By
for a
Pokemon
Pokemon game
standards.
anyway. Definitely by Pokemon standards, these characters have some depth to them. Like the family of Lusamine, Gladion, and Lily are all great characters. There's Guzma, who is iconic and we love.
Love Guzma.
There's I always forget her name. Who's the other lady from Team Skull?
Plumeria.
Plumeria, yeah. I think she's really cool.
She's like a big cis figure to the rest of the gang.
The Team Skull, like a lot of people like don't care for Team Skull because they're just kind of like,
nah, Team Skull is the best, man. Team Skull rules. I fucking love Team Skull.
No, I agree. But like a lot of people are just like, oh, they're not that serious. They're kind of goofy.
That's the point. That is the point. They are just
like,
a bunch of misfits that wanted to fit in and are under the leadership of a guy who got rejected by Alola's like major like society because they didn't want him in the Island Challenge as a trial captain. And so like they made their own gang and they're just goofing off and doing a bunch of mean shit. It's
they have their own fucking, like, their base is just like a shitty rundown town that they took over that was like otherwise abandoned.
They even take over the Pokemon Center too and charge you 10 Poke Dollars to use it.
10 Poke Dollars to use the fucking the healing services. I'm like,
I thought that was really cool that like it's not an official one, but the way they structured Po Town, the town they take over, is effectively its own island challenge. It's part of the Island Challenge. But they obviously it's not recognized officially, but you have an entire like you have to go in and take care of everything, clean it all up. And Guzma even leaves behind a Z crystal for you as a reward. Like he wanted that position so bad that even when they're doing mean shit like this, they were like, all right, we're gonna treat this as a challenge for you. Like I loved it.
I will say, this is unrelated to like the characters specifically, but like I think my toughest fights, or my toughest fight in my entire playthrough of Ultramoon was the first fight against Guzma. Like that was like kind of a wall for my team.
Some of Guzma's fights are tough.
It's literally just Golisopod and Masquerain, but the thing is, my only answer for these bug types is my rock type Kabuto, who was unevolved and not very good, and also, like, what was it that they had? Fucking Golisopod has a Razor Shell. Like, he just uses, like, Sucker Punch, and then he just, like, you know, because Golisopod has Emergency Exit, he gets pulled, and then he throws in Masquerain, who has Intimidate, and it's just like, God, it's a fucking annoying fight.
Not that
the
earlier
team
fight
composition that I did.
But in base Sun and Moon, the fight with Guzma when you have to go into the Aether Foundation, I remember having a tricky fight with him there because he has this like strategy where like even though he's still just using bug types and they're not like the super strong ones, they're just like all set up sweepers. So like if they like one of them has like Fell Stinger, which like raises attack by 3 stages if it kills something. So like if you let that just land even once, that thing outspeeds you, like it's just sweeping you. And then he has the Masquerain, which is like trying to quiver dance and just sweep you. Like these are not super strong Pokemon, but they all are trying to boost to shit and just like run through your team. And I'm pretty sure I lost to him at least once. I might have even lost to him twice in my original Moon file. He was rough.
I do have to make a slight correction on you there, though. His Masquerain does not know Bug Buzz. Not Bug Buzz, sorry.
Quiver Dance?
Quiver Dance.
Okay, thinking...
It knows Bug Buzz, but not Quiver Dance.
I'm thinking of a different fight that had Quiver Dance. Might not even be Guzma. But I definitely remember Fell Stinger was a thing that got me.
Yeah, his Ariados has Fell Stinger.
And the thing that doesn't help is like Ariados is not the fastest Pokemon, but in Alola, everything is slow. So like most of my team was still slower than this thing. And I was just like...
the unfortunate thing about this generation. So many so fucking many of the new Pokemon they introduced are slow as shit. Very, very few of them actually have like respectable speed stats.
Yeah.
And it's like you have Pokemon like Vikavolt, which looks like it would be fast as fuck, but it has a base speed of
40,
I want to say 40,
45,
43.
43. I was close.
Why?
Rabombi's like one of the few Pokemon that's actually fast in this region. Like most of the rest of them are slow. Yeah.
Rabombi and Salazzle. I think
Yeah.
Salazzle was a pretty fast one.
As far as characters are concerned,
For sure.
I agree with a lot of what Jack said. I think that a lot of these characters are pretty strong. I think that some of them, like when you go back and like replay the games, they don't hold up quite as well. But like Lily is a character that stuck with me, like especially in Base Sun and Moon. I think the fact that she grows into a character who's still willing to forgive her mom, despite her mom being an absolute piece of shit, especially in Base Sun and Moon, and she's just
straight
like
up abusive.
and she's like, I'm gonna go to the Kanto region and I'm gonna go find a cure for my mom, who is literally in a coma, sick, and not sure if she's gonna make it. The fact that she had that like maturity to like say she was gonna do that, that was one of the most touching moments in a Pokemon game I had ever experienced, and still to this day is like one of that's something that just as a person you could relate to. It's not like the most happy sort of feeling, but like you can relate to that as like a realistic thing where like you end up in this abusive situation, but they're still your family, so you forgive them and you still want to try to like help them. You can like, there's people that I'm sure could relate to that and get really moved by it. So you have good writing like that. Gladion is also pretty well written because of that dynamic. How is a funny character. He's not my favorite rival, but he's just funny in like a stupid way. So like I enjoy him. He's definitely not my favorite rival or my favorite character in this game, but he's all right. He adds a little bit of flavor, a goofy flavor to the region that like fits.
He's better than the rivals from the previous generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with that part.
15 of them. And
the number's just going to keep getting bigger whenever Landon has to reference it. Because the next time we're going to be talking like Generation 8 or 9, he's going to be like, yeah, all like 13,000 of those rivals from X and Y.
I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I really like Team Skull, though. I mentioned they're one of my favorite antagonist teams. They're not quite like Team Plasma, Team Rocket level, but they're pretty up there. I enjoy them. They make for a lot of fun moments. Their backstory and the way that they interact directly, antagonistically with the Alola region makes for a nice dynamic. And Guzma's just awesome. Like I love Guzma. He's entertaining. He steals the show every time he shows up on screen. Like he's great. The island captains, not the kahunas, but the captains, I mean, they're pretty cool characters, but I think like after like a couple of playthroughs, some of them, they're just kind of like, they're there. They're still pretty good characters overall. I like them more than the average like gym leader of most games, but most of them are just kind of like just a fun character and a little bit, not too much more than that for me.
My opinion on the trial captains varies depending on which one
we're
it
talking
is.
about. Yeah,
but I do on the whole like them.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite trial captain, Cloud?
I think mine
is it Mina?
Mina's fun, but I feel like because of what Landon had mentioned in the Ultra games, and because of the fact she's not even utilized much at all in the base game, I feel like she doesn't get enough of the spotlight for her section as she should have. So
that's true.
So like I want to like her more, but she's kind of just used as like, oh, we made this character, so we might as well put them to use. I don't feel like she was like as important as, say, a Sophocles or a Kiawe or a Mallow or a Lana. Although I do like her more, she doesn't really, I guess it works out though thematically, because one of the things that the Sun and Moon games are trying to incorporate as a theme is like the idea of nature versus nurture, the idea of like tradition versus invasion, and Mina's she's not really part of Alola, like as far as like blended into society, so she is the trial captain version of being an outsider. or like the regional forms, the Ultra Beast being that sort of thing. Like, she fits in as far as thematically. I just still don't like the fact that she was underutilized.
I agree with that. I just like her character in general. I think she's like a well designed and just like a fun character.
She's just like the chill stoner artist girl.
She's memorable despite not having too much to do in the base games. My favorite is Mallow, though. I love Mallow.
And then
shout out to the fucking episode of the anime where Mallow like goes into a fucking like field where she hallucinates and reconciles with her dead mother who died of cancer, and it's really fucking sad.
Jesus.
What the fuck did they do in this TV show?
I don't know. I don't remember why I watched it, but I think I just looked
TV
up
show.
I think I just kind of looked up, like, what are the highest rated episodes of the Pokemon anime? And then, like, I watched that episode, and I'm just like, oh, God, it's really sad, actually.
I want to keep it going, because we got to still talk about Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu in a bit.
He is trying to avoid that at all costs.
I am. Last thing I want to mention, as far as...
I am.
Last thing I want to mention, as far as, like, characters, is I like how they set up the Elite Four in a way where, like, because it's a newly established thing, Professor Kukui is just like trying to pull whatever respectable trainers he can. So he just pulls some of the trial captains and some of the kahunas. And in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, he manages to pull Molayne as one of the people who he wasn't even really either or.
Shout out Molayne.
Molayne is cool shit, and I'm glad that they put him.
I love Molayne.
I'm glad they put him as one of the Elite Four as well. I like how they did that. Some of those characters are pretty cool.
I also like the only Elite Four member that is exclusively an Elite Four member and doesn't do anything else is Kahili.
She's literally just a professional golfer, and Kukui's like, I need strong trainers. Because apparently she was like somebody that took on the Island Challenge before and was a champion of it, but they didn't have an official recognized, like, established version of that, so she was like called up to just be an Elite Four member. So
just like retired trainer, professional golfer. It's Kukui's just like, yo, we need a fourth spot for the Elite Four really bad. Could you fill in, please?
Landon, how do you feel about the characters though for these games?
Yeah, overall I like them. Guzma is fantastic, and then especially base game has like the Aether Foundation and all the characters related to that is pretty solid. And I would say, like, for the on the whole, the trial captains and the kahunas are for the most part better. God, I gotta say, probably my favorite character is what's his name?
The Master Royal.
Yeah, the Master Royal is definitely my favorite character.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah,
I wonder who he is.
I don't know who he is either. No idea.
I wish they would like show off who he is.
Whoa, what the fuck? That's a weird glitch. I searched up the Master Royal on Bulbapedia, and it redirected me to Professor Kukui.
That can't be him. That can't be.
That
can't be right.
I know they're friends, but that's
shout out to Nanu, one of the kahunas. He's my favorite kahuna.
I fucking love Nanu.
He's so great.
He is absolutely a top 10 Pokemon character. I don't give a fuck.
Nanu is like, oh man,
which is funny to say.
He's perfect.
He's a
I love him.
officer.
Yeah, that's the only part about him I don't like. But otherwise,
he's great. He's just the type. Everything else. Police officer.
Cop.
But he's just like a tired old guy that just like he doesn't want to admit that he cares about people, but he's deep down he's a softie, but he's just like he's so cold and blunt and to the point with people. I love
the raised eyebrow he does when he's like,
when he's he was great. He was part of the reason why that whole Po Town arc was so great, because he is involved with that to a little extent.
I agree. So yeah, overall, and then I would say probably for the trial captains, Mallow, and then Sophocles. Like, I like Sophocles' story, like him,
Yeah.
like become like trying to build up the courage to become a trainer on his own, and then Lana and Kiawe are probably like the upper ones, in my opinion. I do wish Mina was used like in a better way than what she was.
Being the last trial captain, especially in the Ultra games, I would have expected her to like interact more with the other trial captains before you get into touch with her for their trial. But oh well.
Yeah.
So let's get into just the overall the extra content, since we've talked about like the main game as far as that goes. So with all of the games have an extra chunk of one of the islands that's locked off to post game. You can do the tapu. You can go catch the tapus, which are like part of the lore of the story, but because they're important to their individual islands, you don't get to catch them during the base game, but you can go back and catch them later afterwards. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you've got the Ultra Space Warp Ride that unlocks before the end of the game, but you can go back and do a bunch of stuff with that. There's the Team Rainbow Rocket post-game story, which I really made sure, like I asked these two guys to like make sure if you have time and you're getting through the game to play that because it's fun. And there's a bunch of other little things. It doesn't quite have the amount of content as like say like Black 2, White 2 or Pokemon Platinum or Heart Gold Soul Silver especially, but it's got a decent amount of post game to work with, definitely more than X and Y for sure, at least. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, especially the Rainbow Rocket storyline. How did you guys feel about it?
I thought it was fun. I went in to it like not knowing what it was going to be. I thought I was just going to fight a bunch of like rocket trainers, which was...
It happened.
There's a lot of them. It happened. That did happen. But yeah, no, you fight... I walked into a room expecting to see Giovanni, and it's fucking Archie, and I'm just like, what the fuck? What are you doing here?
Team
and I
Rainbow
fought Archie.
Rocket.
It's the rainbow. And I fought Archie, and he has a fucking Kyogre.
Yeah.
Everybody has... Every evil team leader that you fight in Rainbow Rocket has the box art legendary from their respective game, and depending on which version you're playing,
some of them
you
will have one of the two, because the evil team leaders that are representing a game pair on their own, they had to go with a version exclusive legendary depending on which version you have. So like if you're fighting Getsis and he does Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, he'll have Reshiram or Zekrom depending on which one. And then like Lysander, same thing with Yveltal, Xerneas, and Cyrus, same thing, Dialga, Palkia. They have like a swap over. And then even Giovanni, his Mega Mewtwo changes its Mega Evolution depending on which game you're playing.
Think of how more badass it would have been if they just had both.
That would be crazy.
And Giovanni really got rid of the Mega Stone, because I think both of those Mewtwo forms are disgusting.
I do like the fact that they decided to be like, what if... It was like, what if they took all of these evil team leaders and they succeeded in their separate dimensions, and they all just got together to raise a bunch of fucking hell all at once, and then you go fight them all, and you beat them all.
It's fun. I think my biggest issue with the section is some of the grunt Pokemon, like grunt Pokemon trainers, just have one or two Pokemon, and it's a lot of the same.
Almost
Pokemon.
All of them.
And their move sets, some of them are just for a single gimmick, like one move. And if you find a way to disable that move, they just have to struggle. It's like, it happened to me on numerous times because one of the Pokemon I was running had
the ability that like turns off a move if it's used on them.
Yeah. The Alolan Marowak I had did that.
Oh, that's right. It has Curse Body.
Yeah, so
I would have never even noticed that.
Yeah, I kept running into that, and I'm like, the design of this is unfortunately like I have the perfect Pokemon to point out the flaw of this, like of these Pokemon trainers. It's fun. Like there's some puzzles in there that are cute, and I mean the highlights of the boss fights, and overall it's cool. It's good post game.
I liked it a lot. I liked it more than Sun and Moon's post game, which is mostly like catching the Ultra Beasts to investigate on behalf of Looker, because yeah, it's cool that like you get to work with Looker and Annabelle, but you get to effectively still do the content that came with in the Ultra Space ride. And it's even cooler because you get to go to different dimensions in Ultra Space and fight the Ultra Beasts in their home turf. And that's a lot more interesting than just fighting them showing up in like random spots in Alola. Even if it feels more right with the theming of the story of like invasive species and stuff, it felt like they were just kind of throwing it in to throw it in. And Sun and Moon in general has a lot of side content that's like they threw it in to throw it in. Like the Zygarde pieces, you're pretty much finding them because that was supposed to be in an X and Y game and they just didn't have time to make that game, so it just got put in Sun and Moon instead. Very cool little side quest, but I think it makes more sense to like collect stickers that go towards getting like a totem Pokemon to own on your own in the Ultra games, because that's what they replaced it with.
The stickers were cool. Yeah, I had fun doing that. It honestly, you know what it kind of reminds me of, Jack, is hint coins from the Professor Layton games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It sort of has that feel, except minus, like, clicking around on the bottom screen everywhere. You're just, like, kind of looking, you're like, I found one. So,
how'd you guys feel about the Mantine surfing in the Ultra games?
I did it once and never really did it again, honestly. I did it the one time they force you to, and I'm like, wow, that took a while. All right, I'm not gonna do that again.
It gets better.
It's okay. I don't hate it.
It gets better if you like start getting the moves.
The first time is not a good introduction.
I did it a bit because there was like a move or two I wanted to unlock, and that's like the way to like unlock.
You get some really good moves if you do it early.
You do, yeah. So that's why I was like, and some of my Pokemon needed it for the Ultra Sun games, but I also understand, like, if you don't need any of those moves, it's there. Yeah.
It's crazy that they put something like that in the game at all. Like, there was no need for this little mini game, but it is fun that they added it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just like back when they just decided to add weird fun shit just to do on the side in the games. Like, these are one of like the last games where you just get a lot of that, and you don't have to wait for DLC for this thing to be a thing. It gives it to you.
It's kind of like it's sort of like contests and that type
in a
stuff. In a way. I mean, mechanically it does not
nothing. Yeah.
Or it's not even close, but it's like it's fun side content that you don't have to do, but it helps make the region more unique. More
fleshed out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk. Did you guys ever really engage with the Pokepelago feature, which is those little sets of islands that you can like go into on the touchscreen, and it like lets you do a bunch of extra stuff by putting Pokemon on them. You can like you can get items, you can level up stats, you can find extra Pokemon that way.
This sounds made up.
It's not only is it a real thing, it actually has canon story ties to Lusamine, because there's a guy trapped. There's a guy trapped there who turns out to be her husband, and she is looking for him.
It's true. Yep. That's the only reason I remember that it exists.
Really made up.
Because fucking Lusamine's husband, who I thought was dead for the first time I played this game, I'm like, oh, he's dead, or they're divorced, whichever. Like, no, he's just chilling in Pokepelago,
and he looks like he's having the time of his life too.
He is living his best life, and honestly, good for him.
Meanwhile, Lusamine's having a fucking existential crisis, like trying to search for beasts from a different dimension, trying to search for her lost husband, and like she's like going through all of this drama, and Mon's like, dude, this is awesome. He's just chilling out on the islands.
I love being a deadbeat dad. Let's go.
Oh god,
an inspiration for all of us
great.
deadbeat dads.
These games are great. So yeah, final thoughts on the Alola-based games before we take a quick break and come back and talk about the Let's Go games. Jack, how do you feel about the Alola games? Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon?
I like them overall. They're not my favorite games in the series, though. I definitely like them more than I don't, and I enjoyed my playthrough of Ultra Moon that I did recently, but I will say there is a reason why I haven't gone back to Alola in as long as I have, and that is because, holy fuck, the early game is a slog. It's so long, and you get stopped like every 10 feet just for how to jump up and down and talk about malasadas and talk about like, oh, this is how you catch Pokemon, and it's like, we need to go this place next.
Pokemon was
we need to go this place next.
Pokemon was channeling its inner trails of Cold Steel for the first few hours.
Take pictures of your Pokemon, shop for clothes, and it's like, I understand that the game is trying to like introduce a lot of these mechanics to like younger fans, but boy, I wish there was a way to just like speed through it.
Jack,
once you get past the first island, though, it's not bad. But
on the plus side, you can at least speed through what Trails of Cold Steel does, but they are just as bad, if not worse, about that sort of like slog of opening hours.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But
by Pokemon, but to be fair, Pokemon is usually a much more fast-paced opening sort of game, and the Alola games, especially base Sun and Moon, I found more so. Like they take their sweet ass time by Pokemon standards, especially.
Yeah, I generally do like these games, but they're just not as replayable as some other generations that I prefer. Like I'd rather go back to gens 2 through 5 before coming back to Gen 7. It's like, and I would still play Gen 7 over 1, 6, 8, and 9, but it's like pretty much right in the middle for me in terms of how I would rank them.
Yeah, I would say that the Alola games, specifically Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I still rate as higher than Generation 6 as a whole, and I like them more than most of the Switch games. There's like a game or two that I like more than the Alola games there, but I would say that at least as far as like the main, like all of the game releases that are like your core pairs, I'd probably say I like the Alola core pair Sun and Moon the most out of what came after Generation 5 still.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I had a great time with the characters and the island challenge progression and everything. It does take a little bit to get going. You do have to get through that first island for it to really get the ball rolling, but it's a much more fun experience, and it's not hampered by any like technical problems like a certain Switch game we will talk about in several years' time. And it's definitely got a lot more just meat on the bones to it than a couple other games that come before and after it. So it's a fun time.
I know you mentioned like technical problems, and I will say it doesn't really have anything like necessarily technically wrong with it, but I played Ultra Moon recently
on an OG 3DS, yes.
On an OG 3DS, and it was my first time experiencing this generation on an OG 3DS.
Let me guess, those totem fights.
Oh my god, any double battle, really. Yeah. It's just like slow down. It's like it gets choppy during some parts of the game.
It's one of those it's one of those things you had to have the new 3DS to like balance that out. Kind of like if you want to really enjoy Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to some level, you need a Switch 2 upgrade instead.
Yeah,
it's almost the same thing.
That too.
It's not as bad. You can still like mostly enjoy Sun and Moon on an old 3DS because at least the overworld part is the same. But yeah, battles
like Al said, lag with any battle more than two Pokemon on screen.
Yeah,
or Pokemon battles with 2 Pokemon battles on screen and a weather effect.
Oh yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I had sometimes where like rain was either kind of there or
now listen,
destroyed everything.
Yeah. I like how they didn't even bother trying to utilize the 3D effect.
Oh no!
In these games, you literally can't.
We know for a fact that could have crashed old 3DSs trying to do that. I think
that would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome.
I said this at the top, but overall, I enjoy the Alola games. I think I would put them slightly above the bottom, especially Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. At the end of the day, the content that's available for post game is like the amount of Pokemon you catch in it is insane. And I always think that's cool when you can get a bunch of legendaries, or just Pokemon in general from past games at the end of the game. I think also part of my problem is I still have yet to play Platinum, and on a technical standpoint, the Ultras are...
You'd have to compare the Ultra games to Platinum.
I don't have Platinum to compare it to. Yeah, Sun and Moon it runs slightly better than Diamond and Pearl. Because by the time I get done saving for the first time, I'm at least halfway through a cutscene in Sun and Moon.
Yeah,
so there's that.
That's true.
Not that I think Diamond and Pearl are bad games. I put up
they are
time.
slow. They are slow.
They are slow. So that's trade off. It's slow for different reasons. What does this mean? What are we doing here?
It's the games. Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons. I personally like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon more than Sun and Moon, but I think that like if you're more of a story, like you the characters more, like I think you should play Sun and Moon because like the character writing is just better for the characters that matter in those games. So it depends on what you want more.
I think that's true for Gen 5 as well.
Yeah, no,
it's
true.
Like the sequel games have better gameplay, but the original games have better story.
I mean, but they are also two different experiences. So like you kind of want you want to play both, whereas in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Sun and Moon's case, you really only need to play
pick
one.
One or the other.
Pick the one that's more important. Play the one that you want out of those two, and you are fine. You don't need to play anything else.
Yeah. So, but yeah, end of the day, perfectly. Out of the whole modern era, from Gen 6 and up, this is it, baby.
Yeah, this is one of the better ones in my opinion. Yeah, for sure.
It's all downhill from here. Let's go.
Not all downhill. I would say we go back up a little bit after Gen 8, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
I was going to say, like, let's put it this way. For me, if it is not named Legends, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are like the best ones, and then everything after is like I have my opinions on each thing, and like I do like them all, but like they don't quite measure up to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon as far as the core pairs. The Legends games are cool. We'll get to those, but yeah. So yeah, our thoughts and summation. Pretty good games. You know, they got some highlights, they got some lowlights. Overall, a step up from Gen 6, but you know there's still some aspects where it's modern Pokemon and it's got modern Pokemon problems. So yeah, Jack, did you want to do our housekeeping real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Let's Go games?
I always do.
All right, because I have to get.
That's what I have a script for.
Thank you.
Oh, hey everybody, Alola. This is Jack from the Gaming Stooges, here to tell you about the Gaming Stooges Patreon. You can subscribe to us at patreon.com/GamingStooges for either $3 or $5 a month, the Silver and Gold Stooge tiers, respectively. At the Silver Stooge tier, you get access to exclusive videos that we post on a monthly basis, including fun one-off videos like tier lists, alignment charts, or stuff like tabletop games like Delta Green, which we've done a lot of videos on. This month's video is our tier list for the Pokemon from Alola, so you can look forward to that within the coming week. It'll be up before the end of the month, we promise. You'll get to hear our opinions on the individual Mons of this generation, which will be interesting. I think overall, don't tell those guys, but I think I have the lowest opinion out of all of the Pokemon of this generation, and I still generally like them. In addition to that, you also have access to voting rights on future content, including future stream titles and podcast topics. This one was not voted on. We just had this one scheduled because we just do a podcast for all of the fucking Pokemon generations. It be like that. We're gonna do Gen 8 at some point, and I'm gonna have to replay Sword and Shield. Lord help me. At the Gold Stooge tier, you get everything including in the Silver Stooge tier, plus a personal shout out from us, me, the Gaming Stooges, and our Gold Stooges are still Al and Brian, if I'm not mistaken. Cloud, can you confirm that our gold Stooges are still Al and Brian?
I don't have my phone, but I'm pretty sure they are.
I'm gonna guess that is the case.
Yes.
You're welcome, Al. I see you in the chat. As far as streams we're doing right now, I am still going through. It's pretty much the same story as last podcast. Cloud is still playing Final Fantasy VIII. How's that going, Cloud?
It's Final Fantasy VIII. We're in the middle of the second disc, quote unquote, because I'm playing the Switch version, so it doesn't actually have discs. It's okay. I mean, it's still one of my least favorite Final Fantasy games.
It's definitely quite the step down from Final Fantasy VII.
It is quite the step down from Final Fantasy 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3. So
yeah,
it's I'm doing my best. It is. I like the characters. The gameplay is just a chore because I feel like I'm spending way too much time in the menus doing all the fucking junctioning and shit. Like half the game is just going through menus. It's crazy. But it's coming along. I don't think I'm going to have it beaten in time for Spookfest. I probably am going to have to either, depending on how close I am, I might put off my Spookfest title until a little bit later into Spookfest, or if I need a lot more time, I'm gonna have to just take a break in Final Fantasy VIII and just come back to it in November. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's always an option. We've done that before for Spookfest.
I'll say this: I'm getting through Final Fantasy VIII as best I can. It's not miserable, but God, do I just want to get it over with so I can play Final Fantasy IX.
Lennon's not back yet, so I'm going to talk about the game that I'm still streaming. It's Xenoblade Chronicles. I just did another 2 streams this week. We are just about at endgame, honestly. We are making like really, really good progress in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
I am a little over 50 hours into the game, and we made it to the last chapter this week. So we are pretty much like right before... It's technically not a point of no return because you can like go back to previous areas and grind if you want, but it's basically the point where you enter the final area of the game. I'm pretty much currently just working on like leveling up my characters and doing any side quests that I might be able to finish before going into the last chunk of the game. But the unfortunate thing is that almost all of the side quests that I have left are intended to be beaten after you beat the game, because a lot of them involve fighting like very, very high level monsters. And Jack thought we wouldn't beat it by Spookfest when we started the stream series. I wasn't sure if I would. I think it helps that I have been streaming on Mondays most weeks, where I would stream for 3 or more hours at a time as opposed to just my usual 2.
Monday streams and Switch 2 edition upgrades.
True. Shout out to the Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles, baby. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Switch 2 edition, Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
It's okay. You don't have to
Landon,
say. You don't have to say the whole thing. Landon's not here to give you a hard time over it.
Landon is still playing through Dragon Quest VI, and I was going to ask how that was going for him, but he's still not back yet. So I guess we're just going to move on.
We're going to move
say
on,
that it's been going well. I know that he's pretty close. I think he mentioned that he's pretty close to the end of the game as well.
He is. I remember Al mentioning that he has like only a little bit left, but not quite enough that he was going to finish it in like the stream or two, that he was thinking that he would. So he might beat it next stream.
Al said he might beat it next stream.
Okay, good to hear.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well, let's I guess we'll just start talking about Let's Go.
Yeah, so Let's Go Eevee and
can pop back
Pikachu,
in.
they came out in 2018, the year after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They were the first mainline games for Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch, and they are also the very first games of the franchise to not have all of the Pokemon that existed at the time available in one game. They just do the original 151 plus Meltan and Melmetal, which they had introduced as Pokemon in Pokemon Go before this. And they also added in the Alolan regional forms, so you can use like Alolan Raticate, Alolan Golem, Alolan Muck, Alolan Exeggutor, Ninetales, and stuff like that. It is mainly supposed to be like a quote-unquote remake of Yellow, because you use Pikachu or Eevee as your starter. It's not really that, though, because one, you aren't playing as red and your rival is not blue. You play as this other character and you have this rival Trace, who is my least favorite rival in all of Pokemon. I'm just going to say that.
He sucks.
I fucking hate Trace.
Sucks.
He's so bad. But yeah, it's still Pokemon Kanto progression for the most part, except you don't engage in battles with wild Pokemon in the normal sense. You catch them like in Pokemon Go. So you have to like use the Joy-Con or the Switch's gyro if you're holding it in handheld, or the Pokeball Plus controller that you can buy for it, and you have to throw the ball and try to catch them in the ball. You can use like different items like the early Pokemon Go updates, that like berries and stuff that you could use to make them easier to catch. And then you can still do your trainer battles. Those are your normal fights. But it's pretty much Gen 1 again. They do have like an interesting post game where like there's 150 trainers or so, like one for every Pokemon that's in the game, just about, and you have to like try to beat them as like the master of that species with only that species yourself. Like you have to use one Pokemon of the same species as them and beat him one-on-one. So that's interesting. You can fight Green from the manga, just gets added in as an optional trainer. Red and Blue are optional fights that you can do in the post game as well. It's very weird mishmash of like trying to have a post game and adding manga content and incorporating Pokemon Go mechanics. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It does cut the Sevii Islands from Fire and Leaf Green, and I still haven't forgiven them for this. So yeah, the Let's Go games are very weird and interesting, and I did want to just talk about them a little bit, although I feel like we probably won't have to spend too much time on them. I wanted to ask what you guys' experience with the Let's Go games even is. Jack?
Before we get into that, I wanted to look it up because I was curious and I couldn't remember what the protagonists' names were in this game, because you can choose between a boy and a girl in Let's Go. Their names are Chase and Elaine.
Okay.
I did not know that beforehand. Can you name the rival in these games, or is his name just Trace?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
you can name Trace.
Okay. I had a feeling.
But honestly, I feel like naming Trace after someone that you know is disrespectful to that person. He's such a bad rival.
Name him after someone you fucking hate.
Yeah.
You want to just kick their teeth
fucking
in.
Chad from English.
I think I named
Chad from English.
I think I named mine Jack.
Damn! Wow, that's rude.
I don't think that's
I love
true.
you too, Landon.
I'd have to go check.
My first experience with these games was at launch, or close to launch anyway. I definitely bought them like around when they came out, and
just got burnt out on Kanto again in the
really
way.
fucking did, honestly. Like, I got to a point in the game. I never beat these games, for the record. Like, I want to say 6 gym badges, because I was just absolutely fucking cruising through every single fight in the game. Like, nothing was even like, I had my team of 6. I had zero desire to catch any more wild Pokemon because it's annoying to catch Pokemon in this game. I'm in the minority on this. I don't like Pokemon Go that much. And I don't really care for the fact that they implemented the Pokemon Go catching mechanics into this game. It's a neat idea in theory, but in execution, it's annoying. And I had a team of 6 that I was like comfortable with. I didn't need to add any more Pokemon to it, and I was just absolutely cruising through every single fight in the game, including gym leaders, and I'm just like, I'm bored of this game. I put it down and I never went back to it.
All right.
In fact, I sold my copy of Let's Go Eevee like a year or 2 ago. Like, and I never do this anymore. I never trade in games back to GameStop, but I do remember I traded in Let's Go Eevee, and I think I put it towards Echoes of Wisdom, The Legend of Zelda.
Fair.
So
that's fair.
went to a better game, I will say.
My experience is definitely the most extensive of the three of us, I would say, with the Let's Go games. Now, originally, I didn't play a super high amount of this game either. I'd gotten it close to launch, but I started playing it, and much like Jack, I did not care for the Pokemon Go mechanics being incorporated into the game. I really didn't like the control restrictions. You cannot use a Pro controller. You cannot use two Joy-Con together as one controller either. You have to use one Joy-Con or the console in handheld or the Pokeball Plus. You can use two controllers if you're having a second player assist you, or like a lot of people do, just having two controllers to play as two characters at one time. But it is restrictive with the options that you have. And then, like Jack said, with the controls, with the catching mechanics, it takes away some of your agency and your ability to control how you're catching Pokemon, because you can't weaken them. You have to just hope that the berry and the Pokeball that you use come together and just catch it. And that's pretty much it. The best you can do is line up the ring, synchronize it as best you can to get the best result. And that's it. I didn't like it. I remember I got to a point when I was 4 badges in, and now when you get past the 4th badge, as everybody knows who's played a Kanto game, the game opens up wide after that. There's a problem with how Let's Go does it. Let's Go just says all of these trainers in the routes beyond the 4th gym's limitations just all get like 5 to 10 extra levels. Everything's like way higher level now. So if you didn't over level before, you are now out leveled. Go grind Pokemon encounters so you can catch back up. That happened to me. Yep. And I did not want to do this. So I just put the game down and didn't for months.
Like,
I just
very bizarre method. Like, I know they do this because like catching Pokemon gets you experience, but I just don't think that was the way to go about leveling the trainers.
And you have to catch a lot of Pokemon and you have to catch a lot of the same Pokemon to get the best bonuses. You have to do like chains of the same Pokemon in a row. And that was just really tedious. I eventually picked the game back up for one reason, and one reason alone. And that is because I am a shill, and I wanted to collect every single Pokemon from the games that are part of a region that they are first able to be caught in. And Meltan and Melmetal are only available in Pokemon Go, and I didn't want the stupid little Go stamp. It still has the Go origin mark, like on the summary screen, but I didn't want the stupid little Go stamp on Pokemon Home, and the only way to get rid of that is to import it through Pokemon Let's Go. Here's the problem with that. When I had wanted to do that, I did not yet reach Fuchsia City in Pokemon Let's Go. So I played more of the game so I could get Meltan and Melmetal. And I was inspired. I was like, you know what? What if I bring in a couple of Alolan Pokemon, and I use Pokemon that I've literally never been able to use in a Kanto playthrough because they didn't exist yet, and make something interesting out of this? So I did the baby bullshit Pokemon Yellow experience with the 3 starters. And then I said, okay, I'm going to have a Alolan Ninetales, a Alolan Golem, and Melmetal, because I couldn't use these guys at all before because they didn't exist. And you know what? Once I settled on that team, I went through the rest of the game, and I had a fun enough time. And then I came back just recently, and I got a Pokeball Plus because, again, I am a shill, and I wanted the Mew that came with the Pokeball Plus. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to play the game with just the Pokeball Plus. I never finished this file on Eevee, but I got a pretty good amount of experience. And honestly, the Pokeball Plus is fine. It's a little uncomfortable for someone with a big hand. That is definitely an accessory that was made for a kid to be using and not an adult.
It's like the size of a golf ball, right?
Yeah, just about. It's a small cute accessory, and it works for the most part, but it's not very comfortable for someone with a bigger hand to use. But it was fun. But I will say my favorite aspect of these games, and it's like the one big highlight that I really like, is how they handled fixing like the gym leaders' teams. Because in all the other Kanto games, the Kanto gym leaders' teams are hit or miss. And like some of them have like really stupid teams. Like in yellow version, Koga has 3 Venonats and a Venomoth. Or in red and blue, and no, actually in yellow, Sabrina has a just Abracadabra Alakazam for some reason. And then Blaine and Koga in red and blue have like double species. Like Blaine has like Ponyta, Rapidash, Growlithe, Arcanine, something like that. And then Koga has a Coughing, a Coughing, a Mach, a Wheezing, and then like one of those he has 2 of. So like they like double up on a lot of Pokemon. In Let's Go, they like make the teams like really interesting. Like Misty doesn't have Staryu Starmie, she has Psyduck Starmie, which is way more interesting. They gave Koga, like he has like, I think it's like Venomoth, Golbat, and Weezing, I think is his team. He
has Weezing, Mug, Golbat, Venomoth.
Yeah, so he has all 4. He has like a smorgasbord of all of his Pokemon. Plus they added Golbat to reference his Crobat in the Gen 2 games. And Blaine, I remember them changing his team up a little bit. They also did this with like some of the Elite Four teams, especially in the rematches. They like give some of them like Pokemon that didn't exist before. Like they add like Alolan variants and stuff like that. Some of them have Mega Evolution stuff, which is pretty cool. So like they make the teams for the major battles way more fun. Problem is, it's fucking Pokemon Let's Go. Like I don't want to have to play this game to get some of the best battles that Kanto has to offer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
I admire, I will say, for as piss baby easy as this game is, I admire that they actually went out of their way to, like, soup up the gym leader teams and make, like, have an attempt at making the boss fights, like, more properly difficult, or at least, like, give some team variety to some of the gym trainers, but the problem, like you said, is that this is Let's Go, and these games are for babies. I think this is, like, probably the first time I've ever really truly felt that I'm like, man, am I too old for this? I mean, obviously I'm outside of the fucking demographic for Pokemon because I'm 30, but it's, like, Let's Go specifically.
There are a lot of Pokemon fans in their late 20s and early 30s now, but I don't think any of them care for Let's Go.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Let's Go came out when I was 23, and that was the first time that I felt like, man, this game feels like it was aimed at someone much younger than me, and not just, like, for general audiences, you know?
The highlight of my playthroughs of that game was when I did the post-game of Let's Go Pikachu, and I got to fight Green from the manga, because that's literally the first time she's ever appeared in a game. I thought that was fucking cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Fighting her in Red and Blue are really cool as like a way to like have them in the game. But other than that, I was like, man, I did that. I beat all 3 of them. I'm done. I don't need to do any more. I'm good. I did what I had to do. If I ever go back to replay any of these, like either of these 2 games, it would have to be many years from now, because just so people know, these are my least favorite main series Pokemon games. I've said it before. I've gone on record. I'll say it again. Even with the faults that other games have, it's still the core Pokemon experience, which is always a solid foundation. And they took away some of that solid foundation for Pokemon Go mechanics. And I do not like that, and I don't want to go back to it. My least favorite games, they're okay. I would say they are a 6-ish out of 10 if I had to give them a rating. And that's like a soft 6. Like I'm being like that's like
dare I say a little generous, but
they have
my guy.
They have a beautiful art style. They are some of the nicest looking of the Pokemon games in the Switch era. And that's doing a lot of heavy lifting for this game, to be honest. It's very pretty and is a very nice way to visually experience Kanto in HD. And they fucked everything else up.
Yep. Oh, riding on Pokemon is pretty neat.
Riding on Pokemon in that game is fucking awesome, because there's some Pokemon you can just fly around in the sky on. You can ride on an Arcanine, like the fucking Ash in the opening of the anime. Like that is cool. That is very cool, and it is crazy to me that they fucked it up in every game since. Let's Go does some very interesting things, and it's just in a package that I just didn't want.
Yeah,
So.
it's like it is a game that definitely has some good ideas.
Yeah.
What about you, Landon? You've been kind of quiet on this.
We didn't get
so
to
far.
we didn't get to talk about your experience with the Let's Go games. Did you ever beat the game?
Hi. Not only did I buy this game around or on launch, I beat it
While it was still current.
while it was still current, without waiting months to years to actually play it. Not only do I think this game is a certified classic, it is probably the second or third best offering you can find on the Nintendo Switch for a Pokemon game.
I hate to say that that's not an exaggeration.
I'll say this now. There are quite a few people that agree with you. You're not somebody who's saying like an unpopular opinion. It's a little bold to be worded the way that you did it. But there's a lot of people who feel similarly to you.
It's like I'm torn. Like, I don't care for how you catch Pokemon, but I do enjoy that. Like,
it's still Kanto, which is foundationally a good region to explore.
It is.
Yeah.
That's like, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of aspects that like are kind of lame, but it's Kanto, and I'm a baby man who likes Kanto.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If there was a Let's Go equivalent of Ruby and Sapphire, as much as I don't care for the Let's Go specific mechanics, I would still probably enjoy it to some degree, because I'm like, yeah, it's the worst version of Hoenn, but
it's still Hoenn.
Yeah. So I can't even blame you for having that opinion.
And I mean, like, Kanto's not even my like favorite like region. But it's like it's iconic. They do some stuff to like make it feel fresh. Eevee's a decent Pokemon, and you can teach the Eevee some fucking dirty ass fucking moves.
Yeah, because they gave it moves for every one of its evolution's types.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
It's stupid. It's cool.
And all of them are like 80 power moves that have some ridiculous secondary effect.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I in my initial and only playthrough of Let's Go Eevee, I learned after the fact that the titular Eevee cannot evolve.
Correct.
You have to catch another Eevee in order to, if you want to evolve into something. So I'm like, oh, that's lame. So I caught another Eevee and evolved it into Vaporeon.
Awesome.
Just so I could have another, just because I wanted to have an Eeveelution on my team.
You also like can't trade it away. Like it is stuck to that.
It's stuck on that game.
Locked to your game.
Yeah. Now, I also haven't played this game since it came out. So
your opinion could change. Your opinion could just be based on just how you felt about it at the time.
Yeah, but at the time I was like, this is fine. And then just about every single Pokemon game that has come out on the Nintendo Switch since has been like, oh, this is
some degree of disappointing.
All of a sudden, Let's Go Eevee's looking a lot better.
So, like, is Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green for the Nintendo Switch the best experience you can get on the Nintendo Switch?
Landon probably says yes.
Probably.
I haven't played that version.
But specifically Leaf Green and not Fire Red.
That is true. Now, there is another game next time we come back that I probably have a spicy take on too. So we'll save it.
So next time when we come back to Pokemon, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Gen 8 later this season. But before we go, we got our usual wrap-up segment. Let's catch up on what we've been up to. We'll try to, hopefully we can try to keep it a little bit brief since we ran well into the hour and a half mark with this episode, because we had a lot of games to talk. Okay. We had a lot of games to talk about, a lot of stuff to say about them.
We had
Jack. What have you been up to?
Honestly, I fully expected this to go over the 2-hour mark, so I'm kind of amazed that we made it to this point in the podcast without going past that point. So, good for us. Well, I've been playing Pokemon Ultra Moon.
Yeah.
I not a ton, but like I was basically like right at the end of the game, and I just like within the past few days, just like crawled over the edge to finally beat it, because I was like, Pokemon Ultra Moon has been like kind of just like a side game that I would just like pop on occasionally when I'm at work.
Gotta
and I'm
have
really
your side
bored.
game.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and you know what? It served that purpose. It might have taken me a few months to get through it because I was only playing it for bits and pieces at a time, but it did the job. So, shout out to Pokemon Ultra Moon. Aside from that, I have been playing a lot more Splatoon Raiders, which I am still having a lot of fun with. I still have not quite beaten the game yet, but it's just been a lot of raids, and it's been a lot of fun. I haven't really been playing too much else, though. I need to find another, like, once I beat Splatoon Raiders, which I think I'm getting close to doing, I am going to have to find a new game to play, so
You know what you should do?
Short.
If
What's that?
you have like a little like basket or shelf somewhere that has space on it, you should designate it as like your next things to do shelf or box, and just pick
That is
and
a
just,
good
and just
idea.
pick something and be like, that's the next thing I'm doing, and just put it there.
Or I could
Just
reach into my old Game Boy Advance SP carrying case that is filled with all of my loose 3DS and DS carts and just pick a game at random. And we're gonna say
boy.
the next game I play is Codename Steam, baby. Let's go.
Have you played it yet?
I played a little bit of it when
Okay.
it came out, and I thought it kind of sucked.
All right.
but
Let's try it. Let's go back and see if you might like it.
We'll see.
just
We'll
remember,
see.
we have, we're weeks away from.
I know. We're like a little over a month, a
Rails.
little less than a month away from Trail's second chapter, and that is once that comes out. Don't get me wrong, that is
I was
taking
gonna say,
full
I was
priority.
gonna say, all three of us are getting that on launch, and I'm pretty sure we're all making sure that we just focus on that game as soon as it's out. So,
I mean,
we're in Trails lockdown when that game comes out.
Japan
Fuck yeah,
has
dude.
the demo as of recording. I mean, they probably have it already because time zones for them, but they have a demo that you can play the entire first chapter in, and then carry
It's
over
gonna
everything.
Yeah,
So-
Just like
it's
before.
gonna suck. It's gonna suck the day that it comes out, though, because I just remembered that September 17th, I'm going out of town to see Melt Banana for the first time.
Ooh, interesting. I
Which
know
will be
Melt Banana.
sick.
That
Melt Banana is crazy. They're
That
very
is-
very
And
experimental shit.
unfortunate because we also have a podcast that day.
We're gonna have to change that.
We can't.
We're gonna have to move that to a different. We
We
can't.
literally cannot. We will talk about that later.
Fun.
Yep. Okay.
we're gonna have to
We'll have
figure
to
that out.
negotiate that one. All right. So, anything else you were up to, Jack?
That's mostly it.
So speaking of Pokemon and Game Freak, the games that I have been mostly playing happen to be connected to Pokemon and/or Game Freak. I just recently finished a replay of Pokemon Ranger because I want to get to Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Olmi and Guardian Signs. I have not played those yet, so I figured I'd replay Ranger. It's a pretty fun time, although because of how the mechanics of like catching Pokemon works, you have to do everything in continuous loops, and they don't have health bars. You just have to like do that many loops around them in one go. Some of the Pokemon are absolute full-time fuckers trying to catch them, but it was an overall pretty fun experience. I ended up going through and I got the Manaphy egg because I had wiped the save with 3DS custom firmware, so I could redo that and get that into Pokemon Platinum. And I'm looking forward to playing Shadows of Almia soon. And then I've also been playing Beast of Reincarnation, which is Game Freak's new game for this year. And I'm about 15 hours in, and some major plot developments have started happening. It is a pretty fun game. I am still, I think the performance has improved a little bit in one of the recent updates patches that they did. It's still a little janky. Like Emma likes to get caught on stuff when you're trying to platform around a very naturally like created like world that you got to like jump up on like pipes and cliff sides, and some of them have invisible walls because you got to go to like the edge of the map sometimes to get through to like certain areas. So it's a little janky traversing, but at least as far as like the combat goes, the character interactions, the story, that's all good, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm glad that I did get the game because a lot of the internet seems to have just dunked on it and then left it alone and moved on to something else to bitch about. But I've had fun with it. And then I've also, not related to Pokemon or Game Freak, I started Dragon Quest V Hand of the Heavenly Bride. I have only played a couple of hours so far, but it is fun. I like this whole part where I am a little child that is just trying to not get the shit beaten out of him by monsters. And my dad is like this big, strong guy. I haven't played super far in, though. I basically just did like the first major dungeon where you get to play as him, like by yourself without any assistance, and then I gotta progress from there because I was doing a lot of exploring, like the town before that and shit. But it's fun. I'm looking forward to more of the game as that develops. And then the last major thing for me in the past couple of weeks is I got this weird thingamajigger. This is the Asus ROG Xbox Ally. It's a PC handheld, so it's a game console that runs Windows, and you can put a bunch of Windows-based games. You can put Steam, you can put your Xbox games on it, you can put GOG, good old games on there as well. Multiple different storefronts. I learned through booting this up that apparently I still have a digital copy of Cuphead for Xbox on there, so that's pretty cool. Cuphead.
There you go.
Cuphead's a good game. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. It is a little weird working with some old games that have like outdated controller configuration. Because like for some reason, I cannot get the control stick to work on Sonic Adventure 2. I can only use the D-pad, which is weird, and I don't want to do that. So I haven't been able to do that.
Strange.
Although for some reason, Sonic Adventure DX with the better SADX mod works perfectly fine. So that was fun. I also was playing the HD Sonic Unleashed PC port, the recompilation. That runs and looks fucking phenomenal on this thing. It's really cool. But honestly, this thing has mostly been a Toho machine. I put like every single Toho game on here that I have, and I've been playing a bunch of those just to like get a feel for the series again. I even put a fan-made Toho Pokemon game on here that's like, I think it's like running like RPG Maker as an engine or something, but it's a very cool game where like it takes place in the Toho world, but everything's like Pokemon mechanics, so it's pretty cool. So I haven't really played anything specifically on this. I'm just kind of toying around with stuff to see what works, and it is a nice companion to my 3DS, my Vita, and my other handhelds. So it's a welcome addition to the family. That's pretty much everything though for me for the past couple of weeks. Besides that, pretty much just been keeping up with the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, and the couple of episodes that we've watched since the last time I talked about it have been pretty interesting, pretty fun. So looking forward to watching more of that. Landon, what have you been up to these past couple of weeks?
Did I beat Shantae Advance before the last podcast?
Yeah, you did that within the last week or so.
Yeah. I forgot if I did it like before the last podcast or not. But yeah.
Shout out Shantae Advance.
Played through Shantae Advance, so I have now played the entirety of the Shantae franchise.
How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. Part of me wants to play through, replay Pirate Scars Half Genie Hero, even though I played through Half Genie Hero, like, I don't know, 7 times probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure Landon is going
like
to pressure me now into playing the Shantae game so we can do a podcast on the Shantae series soon.
I was literally just about to say that. We need to schedule a podcast for Shantae so that Cloud feels pressured to play all of the games.
I mean, if I get around to it, there is a humble bundle that has a bunch of the Shantae games for $15.
And there you go.
And while I would be a little bit iffy about buying all those games physically right now because I'm not a big fan of the series yet, $15 for a bunch of Shantae games that I could play on the go with this new device seems like a pretty cool idea.
Also, like, most of those games physically cost
are probably expensive.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget that Shantae is actually like
a low print run, high demand
physically
series.
Because they like Way Forward has like, I don't know what sort of fucking deal they have with Limited Run, but they do pretty much all of their like physical Shantae releases through Limited Run.
At this point.
You know, me being a fan for as long as I have, I own all of the games in the series multiple times over across several consoles, but that's just me.
Pirate's Curse for
So-
Nintendo Switch is like I think it goes for like over $300 on eBay.
Does it fucking really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Double check that, but it's expensive.
Cloud, you can have my Japanese copy of Shantae and the Pirate's Curse for 3DS that you can't play because it's region locked.
No,
could
I
also-
could because my custom firmware broke the region lock. So
Yeah,
Oh, there.
he could.
There
don't
we
forget,
go.
I hacked my 3DS, and the 3DS
And-
removes the region lock.
TBH, Pirate's Curse on 3DS is fucking...
Is Pirate's Curse one of the games that's part of the Humble Bundle that's going on right now?
Yeah, it is.
I believe so.
Yeah, so
That's why I
could
said,
just
like,
play
that-
on my ally.
That deal, if you go for that deal, there's at least 5 games like alone that are like worth it.
I'm probably going to do it tomorrow because tomorrow's when I get paid, and then I'm just going to be like, boom, bunch more
Yeah.
games.
If you end, because unfortunately Advance is part of the bundle, but a 25% off coupon.
Yeah, I have to pay for it separate. But how
Yeah.
much? I didn't even check how much it was. It probably isn't too expensive, so the 25% off coupon would be able to.
I think it's $20 on Steam without me actually checking. It's like a $20 game.
So, yeah.
Anyway,
I can check it.
so there's that. And then after I beat that, I went into Professor Layton and the Last Spectre. So that's
Hell
my
yeah.
game right now. I am in chapter 5. I have completed over 50 puzzles. I think I beat
$25.
$25. Oh.
So this 20% off basically knocks it down to 20.
There's a sealed copy of Pirate's Curse for the 3DS on eBay for $56. Not amazing, but not at hundreds, you know?
Yeah. Anyway,
Let me just get the Humble Bundle. I'll play
Yeah.
through the games, and if I feel like
for
supporting
sure,
the
for
series
sure.
physically, I will look into it. We'll see.
yeah. Yeah, as far as like stuff I played that's been it, I took Nick and I watched Spider-Man Brand New World a second time.
Brand new home.
Brand new. No, we're in a new trilogy. Brand new day.
Brand new day. You called it Brand New World.
Well, here's the issue: is the
They need to stop putting 3-word generic phrases as all these
Genuinely fucking yes. I'm so annoyed with the Tom Holland Spider-Man verse because the naming conventions for these movies is annoying to keep track of.
The real issue is the fucking Captain America movie, like the new the last Captain America movie is Brave New World.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I gotta stop this.
it's very easy for me to like
Brave New World and Brand New Day.
yeah.
hate
So it's real easy for me to flip those because I don't have time. Anyway, so yeah, Spider-Man. I watched it a second time. It's still pretty good. I enjoyed it
Good.
on the second watch. And then yeah, last thing, Trader unfortunately passed away. He's gone. So everyone,
I know.
This episode
All right.
goes out to you, Trader.
you know,
R.I.P.
One
Trader.
of the coolest
We
cats.
love you.
so he was having some health decline, especially the last couple months. Lost a lot of weight, and just got to a point where he couldn't move much without like a lot of struggle. So yeah, it's just
He's chilling. He's chilling with Momo now,
chilling.
and Mushina,
Mushina
and Beans,
beans.
and Pumpkin is Pumpkin's
Yeah, Pumpkin was
probably-
Beans's like they were brother and sister.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of that. So yeah, it's sad. I took some time with him. I took the whole day Monday off, and then spent some time with him in the morning. And then yeah, so that's that.
At least he got to have time with you before he won.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
That's great. Way to end the podcast on a real sad note.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that we should, because Trader was born somewhere in the month of October, we should
honestly, I don't
dedicate
even know if,
Spookfest this year.
I don't even know if that's true, but that's just
It's
what his birth date as his original vet was marked as October 1st.
October 1st, yeah.
2009.
2009.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure. I mean, I didn't know for sure if Momo's birthday was in March, but I just kind of picked a birthday for her.
But
so we will dedicate Spookfest this year to in the memory of Trader.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was our Generation 7 Pokemon podcast. Next episode, I actually already forgot what our next episode is going to be. We'll notify you guys on Discord. It is a poll, I believe.
Oh, it is Sega third party.
We are going to be talking about Sega as a third party. So we talked about Sega Genesis earlier this month. We're going to be talking about Sega as a third party publisher. It's going to be pretty interesting. But until then, see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Roll the outro.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed, or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!